Morning guys. So my project today is I want to make a trolley for my fishing kayak. Now I've had a look at the different places here, Anaconda and BCF, and they range from sort of $100 up to $250. Well, I don't want to pay that sort of money for something that I can easily make myself. So that's my project today. And the reason I want a trolley is because generally here where I live in Wagga Wagga, we don't have the luxury of being able to pull up our vehicle or our trailer right next to the boat ramp and then just unload our kayak into the river. Sometimes we have to take it 50 meters from where we park the car to the river. So it's just better, especially if you're by yourself, to be able to put it on a trolley and get it down the water without having to drag it along the ground. So that's my plan today. So the plan I'm going to use is something I've just made up myself. I've seen that there are similar ones out there on YouTube, but I haven't seen one exactly the same. There could be, but I haven't noticed one. So the one I've done exclusively, I've sort of come up with the idea myself. So we'll just see how it goes. So this is my kayak. Just very basic, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize these holes here to get some poles coming through attached to my trolley, and then pull it along from the front with the wheels at the back and be able to pull it along like that. And it's going to be very simple, so let's get started. Some of the tools I'm going to use today are a couple of clamps, a saw, a drill, an impact drill, tape measure, marker, tech bit, combination square with a pilot drill bit in my drill and a Phillips bit in my impact driver. Some of the materials I'm going to be using today is, I've got a bit of leftover 90 by 45 mil treated pine. That's going to be pretty much the base of the trolley. Some wheels. These cost me $10.90 each. I've got an axle which cost me about $13.60, and that's designed to fit these wheels, so it's 1/2 inch. That'll fit into the wheels. I've also got a couple of eye screws. These steel pipe brashards, I think they're called. They cost me about $4.30 each. And then a couple of pipes that screw into them. So they will obviously pass through those holes in my kayak. They were worth about the same, probably about $4.50 each as well. So all in all, these materials, not including the timber, has cost me about $50. Also, I'll be painting it as well. And I've got some leftover paint at home, so I don't have to pay for that. So hopefully this won't cost me any more than about $60 all up. So the first thing I've done is I've measured the width of my kayak above those holes, and it works out to be sort of between 700 and 800. Now I don't need to know the exact width, because all I need to worry about is that the timber that I cut is going to be wider than the kayak. So I'm going to cut timber at 800. Okay, now I've cut my first piece of timber, 800 millimeters long, and now I need to cut 2 small pieces of my remaining timber, maybe about 150 long each. Alright, so here I have it here. This is the underneath part of it. So I'm going to now screw these onto here, pre-drilling just with a small drill bit and using some 10 gauge 100mm screws, 4 in each, just to connect them. Alright, so that's the stage we're at now. 4 screws in here, 4 screws in here, connected up. This is how it's going to sit. That's the underside there. Now, what I need to do is, next thing is connecting the axle and the wheels. So the axle pack consists of an axle, 2 angle brackets, 1, 2, 2 of these little split pins in there, and 2 end caps. And just put that split pin back through. The angle will sit there, that angle will sit there, and that's going to provide me with enough of a gap for the wheels to spin, like so. So now I just screw these brackets off to the timber where it fits. Next thing is to split the pins, stop it from coming out. Of course, I don't need these tags on anymore, so I can take them off. But there is basically my buggy or my trolley, and now I have to fit the bars on the end to connect to the kayak. So the next thing I need to do is measure halfway along this thing. So obviously it's 800, so it'll be 400. And now I flip the kayak over so it's upside down, and I stick the trolley on the top of it. Now I've previously marked the center line of this long ridge down the middle. So I've marked that on there, and I just have to line up my mark here onto there, and that just works out exactly center of the kayak. And now I just measure where the center of that hole is and the center of that hole. Now, using those marks that I've just got off the kayak, I'll just transfer them onto the front, and that'll give me the center of where the post is going to be. So these are now going to go one here, the center of that line, and then one there in the center of that line, and then these will screw in. So I'm going to use some Tex screws to put these plates on, just because the holes are so big. I need something. If I use a Phillips head, I'd need a washer, which I don't have, so I've scrounged up some Tex screws at home. And all I need to do is place that over the middle, and then just mark my holes, center of each hole. And then I just have to pre-drill the holes, and then I'll, not all the way through, not the full depth of a Tex screw, but just at least to get it started. And then I can use a Tex bit in my drill to screw the Tex screws in. All right, so now I just screw my holes in, like so. Now I'll go and see and make sure that it all fits. Perfect. Pretty simple design, isn't it? Now the last thing I need to do is put those little hooks on, because what I want to do is use an ocky strap to put a hook in here and do an ocky strap that goes around up the back, and then another hook in here and clip it onto that, and that'll hold the kayak on the trolley, because there's a bit of play in that obviously, whilst I manoeuvre it to the boat ramp. Okay, so now as you can see, I've got the kayak sitting on the trolley. I've got the poles going up through those holes there, and I've got the ocky strap tying it down to the trolley so it won't come off. Okay, so here's the finished product. I've painted with enamel just to give a bit of protection from the rain and the salt water and the sun. So I've got the axle connected on by those brackets with the split rings inside. I've got these pins here to hold the ocky strap. These go through the holes of the kayak. I've connected a piece of rubber, just liquid nails that on, just to protect the kayak when it sits on top of it. And that's about it. So it only cost me about, well, it cost me $56, but I already had the timber and I already had the paint and I already had that little piece of rubber. So if you're going to buy the products yourself, everything, you'd probably get away with $60. And considering that the cheapest one I saw for sale was $95, you save $35. So pretty good. Anyways, I'll put it on and wheel it around and see how it looks.